Before the US joined World War II, a series of key events shaped its foreign policy. From isolationism to intervention, let's break it down in this timeline. The 1920s began with an attempt at peace. At the Washington Conference of 1921, the U.S. led efforts to prevent a costly naval arms race. The Five-Power Pact established tonnage limits on warships, the Nine-Power Pact protected China's sovereignty, and the Four-Power Pact ensured peace in the Pacific. In 1928, the U.S. took another step toward peace with the Kellogg-Briand Pact, renouncing war as a tool of diplomacy. But there was one problem: there was no enforcement, making it more of a hopeful wish than a binding agreement. As the world economy collapsed in 1929, the U.S. focused inward. Hoover believed in private loans to stabilize Europe, but refused to forgive war debts. However, global instability only grew, and by 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria, ignoring U.S. protests. When Franklin D. Roosevelt took office in 1933, he introduced the Good Neighbor policy, emphasizing diplomacy over military intervention in Latin America. This was a shift from past U.S. policies of intervention in the region. To help recover from the Great Depression, the Reciprocal Trade Agreement Act of 1934 let the president negotiate lower tariffs to encourage international trade, promoting U.S. exports and economic recovery. Meanwhile, fascist powers like Nazi Germany and Italy were rising, but the U.S. wanted no part in another war. Congress passed a series of Neutrality Acts between 1935 and 1937, banning arms sales and loans to warring nations. FDR saw the danger coming. In his quarantine speech of 1937, he suggested isolating aggressive nations, hinting that neutrality might not be the best path. But public backlash forced him to step back. Then, in 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. The U.S. revised its neutrality laws to allow cash-and-carry arms sales, letting the Allies buy weapons if they transported them themselves. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, killing over 2,000 Americans. The next day, the U.S. declared war on Japan, and within days, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. America was now fully in World War II.